introduce and empower our users to optimize the use of our ERP platform, Entution. Today's webinar is themed Mastering Customer Relationships with the Entution CRM. And this webinar is presented by Manupriya Wijayanga, who is a seasoned IT and business professional with over a decade of ERP experience in diversified sectors. He has over 10 years experience in finance operations and software business analysis roles, especially in the high-paced environments. He currently holds the position of Head of Project Delivery at Belita. Our second presenter is Dinura Patiranage, with over 5 years of experience both in Australia and Sri Lanka. To his credit, he is the digital marketing wizard behind the Belita brand, our very own digital marketing specialist, Dinura Patirana. Over to you, Manupriya, to start things off.
All right, thanks, Ashani. So hello to everyone to our second webinar on the series. So basically what we are going to discuss here is about how to master customer relationship management with Entution platform. So for this, Entution offers a specific module called CRM, Customer Relationship Management. So this is actually targeting the backend customer relationship management component. It's actually a very, I would say, very simple tool, which will allow you to get powerful insights into your business in terms of how you're handling your pre-sales component, which is very crucial in terms of managing your revenues and creating your sales pipeline. So basically, without further ado, let me just share the screen and move into the actual demonstration. Right. So hope my screen is visible to all of you. So what you're seeing here is actually the Entution background. So I'm gonna focus on few key areas which is basically falling under the CRM aspect of Belita. So out of those, actually the first, I would say the starting point of this whole process would be the lead generation component. So when it comes to defining a lead is who is showing some sort of an interest in your business or whom you would identify as a potential sales. So the first thing here is you need to create a database of who your potential sales components are. So there you have to create a lead under the lead information on the ERP. So there are a few options basically leading to this. One is the traditional method where you can actually key in the information related to your lead. But if you want a more sophisticated solution, you can actually integrate with another platform where we can basically maybe even I would say a social media platform, WhatsApp. So basically options are there. We can generate leads through your marketing tools, and then we can integrate with Entution for automatic lead generation via the integration aspect as well. So purpose here simply is for you to create a record of your potential sales or potential customers. They fall under leads. So you create a summary of them. So the important part is their contact information, emails, and the contact details. So once a lead is created, you can assign the lead to a sales team or an account owner. Basically, when it comes to the sales process, you assign your potential lead to an account manager or a sales representative. So then that particular person will be responsible to nurture the lead. So finally, what the outcome would be is either you're going to win over this lead and convert them to a sale, or otherwise you're going to lose the interest and then he's going to go away, he or she's going to go away. So the account owner is the person whom you're providing the responsibility or handing over that responsibility to take over the lead nurturing process. And importantly, you can define where you identified the lead. So this is another crucial information. Again, all this is adding up to data. So the advantage here is through the system, you will be able to identify what are the sources that generate the most effective leads to your organization. Sometimes your social media campaigns may be more effective than, a paper advertisement or an advertisement campaign. So like that, you can define different, so these are all customizable. So you can define the sources that you expect leads to come from. And then, for the analysis purposes, you'll be able to identify which sources generate more effective leads and which sources actually generate more lead content. So the count is also important, plus the effectivity of the lead. You can categorize them in different manner. I've just used the term as immediate closure. So those you can define in a way you would like to categorize your leads. So once you create a lead, you're gonna automatically create a contact person. So if you take a corporate party as a lead, or let's say a company as a lead, for example, I'll just take John Keys as a lead. So when you take a company like this, you're going to have multiple contact points. So you can add any number of contact personnel within an organization as contact points within a lead. So your lead is going to be the organization, plus there will be different contact people within that. And then you come to the third component, which is the inquiry. So a lead always comes with an inquiry on hand. So otherwise they will not become a lead. So you define a lead based on what they are inquiring about. So it's basically simple. At the screen itself, you will be able to create a inquiry, summary of the inquiry that they are interested on. And at the same time, you will be able to update the progress of the inquiry. Now, you can categorize the inquiry as well, and you can update the progress of the inquiry based on different stages. You can define your own stages here, and then also you can define what percentage is fulfilled based on each status. So right now, let's say, for example, I'm going to pick this state and it's going to go into 50% probability. So it's up to you to define according to your policy. You can even put a budget, like how much you're investing on nurturing these leads. So end of the day, you'll have an idea like based on the sale they generate, whether you made an effective conversion or not. So that's the inquiry aspect of it. So because now the person who, if a person is actually entering lead information to the system, it needs to be user friendly and fast. So we're just giving some summary screens like this for the person to quickly enter the information to the system. But if you want to add further details, actually maybe the person who is responsible, the account manager, can later go into the inquiry and they can add further information like this, where you can even tag the product information that they are inquiring about, and you can even set up email notifications based on the inquiry's progress to different people. You can set for your manager to know based on the progressions you make. So you create the lead, you create the contacts, then you create the inquiry. So those are the basic 3 steps in registering a lead or a potential sale to the Entution platform. Then comes the second part of it. So you have entered the data. Next is about how you track the progression of your lead. So like I said, it's a process of nurturing the lead to convert the lead to a customer. So how you do it is your sales teams are going to have different methods or different practices. There will be follow-up calls, there will be visits, there will be content sharing, maybe sometimes events. So like that, there will be a process defined for each organization, or maybe for each account manager. So what you do after that is we can create activities against an inquiry. So here you can assign a specific activity or a list of activities. Say your company has a specific process of, let's say, 3 follow-up calls and a visit in terms of lead management in lead nurturing process. So you can create those activities and you can assign it to a relevant personnel. So sometimes the sales manager can assign this to the account manager, or maybe the account manager can assign this to like a sales representative or anybody as per the organization hierarchy. You can give them a deadline. You can set up reminders as well. So similar to the tasks, you can even create events, and you can add invitees, you can send emails. So you can either create a task or an event on the system where basically this is going to be your activity list in terms of nurturing the lead. So what happens after this is, so what I was showing so far is basically from the perspective of the lead entry person. And then the activity creation would usually happen from, let's say, a sales manager or a senior personnel. Then what happens is the next component actually goes to the account manager or the sales representative who is supposed to follow up on the lead. So what happens is when your senior or the supervisor creates the task list for you, it'll appear on your overall task schedule under my tasks, and you will be able to see under sales inquiry this particular user. Now I have three activities created for me in order to complete. So there's a follow-up call 2, follow-up call 1, 2, a casual visit, and a sales closure. So each of these activities are going to come up with a deadline. So see, start date and end date is expected, right? So this one, another activity for the start and end date. So like this, so what this is gonna automatically create an activity plan, a very streamlined process for the account manager to actually follow up on the lead and manage the lead and see how the progression happens. So simply the person who's actually doing the follow-up only needs to do, they can go to the activity and they can say either in progress or completed. So I'd say I'm going to complete this particular activity as the call. I can even put a comment. So this is simply like even like a chat system where you can, send comments to your supervisor. And I'm going to update my task. So since I completed the task, my task moved out of the to-do list. So now if I go back to my lead, I should be able to see under the lead post information. So all my pending activities are going to be listed here, and then not started, I have 3, nothing in progress, I've completed 1, right? So what happens by this is, let's say you analyze, let's say you actually lost a very important lead. So you can come to the system and see what are the activities that were planned against that lead, and then what happened to all those, whether they've actioned on time or like whether there are any specific comments. So what this gives is insights for you to actually see what actually happened in terms of the follow-up process, what actually happened in terms of the conversion process. So this, I would say, as very insightful information that a senior sales members would actually actually like to look at. So based on my progression, I can actually update this completion percentage as well, right? And also, I would be able to see everything that happens as an update on the inquiry as well. This is sort of like an audit trail. So basically, anybody looking at it will know what activities were undertaken and on which days and all those information as well. So this is actually the third aspect of it. And then, of course, the most handy feature here, I would say, is for you to keep all the supportings attached. So, like you can even keep the brochures you send, the marketing materials you shared with the lead, you can keep all of them uploaded on the system. So, anybody coming in after you as well will be able to see, even as a transition, you will be able to see like what happened on this, what was shared, and all this information you can actually systemize, going basically like a paperless process. So this is basically the third aspect of the lead management. So creating the lead database, creating the activity list, and then updating what actually happened as the progression of the activity list. Yeah, so and then this is going to give you insights to the reporting and the dashboarding aspects. So this is basically like the core area in terms of the lead management. As I told you at the beginning, it's a very simple process. You like have just two screens and few things to do, but if you use it effectively, you're going to get a lot of insights into what actually happens to your pre-sales process. Then there's a final component which comes in as a campaign information. So if you're a sales personnel, you would know that marketing departments or sales departments usually launch campaigns targeting specific areas, sometimes targeting products and all that. So in the system also, you'll be able to create a campaign, and this for the campaign you can give a timeline. Like for example, I've created a social media campaign, and I can add which products that I'm targeting as well, right? And then as per this campaign, I'm targeting 100 response, basically 100 people to be reached, and I'm expecting 60 responses. So these are my targets for the campaign. There's a expected revenue, and then there's an expected budget that I'm going to incur to it. So on the campaign, what I can do is I can tag members who I target for the campaign as well. What happens is when you create an inquiry or a lead on the system, there's an option where you can link the campaign. So actually you can link the campaign here, or else in the campaign itself, you can originate an inquiry. So what this actually does is once the inquiries or the leads pile up against the campaign, you will be able to generate campaign statistics, which is basically you will be able to see the total responses, total leads, converted leads, and total contacts. So this is insightful information that you'll be able to obtain based on the information that you're inputting to the system. So this is also another component that you can actually use based on the inputs that you put to the system to get an output in terms of campaign management. So this is the second, basically like the second area in terms of the lead management. So those are the data entry concepts of lead management, and I would go to finally the reporting elements of the lead management and the CRM process, where you will be able to see an auto-generated sales funnel. So this is like something that the companies actually manually do in terms of generating a sales funnel. So what if you follow the CRM process in Entution, you will be automatically generating this, and then you can get all these insights like what is your conversion ratio, right? How many leads actually converted on the follow-up? first follow-up, how many converted on the second follow-up, like that, and then how many leads are in which stages and which origin generate most of the leads. So all of those information you will be able to see along with a tabular format here, basically, right? So these information I would say as quite insightful information overall in identifying and visualizing what actually happens to your pre-sales procedure. So similar to the dashboard, we are also having a reporting platform where you will be able to extract the same sort of information in the form of reports. So in order to do that, you can access the report pool and see which reports are there available in the particular module. So I'm just simply gonna see a summary about all the inquiries that the organization has. So this is like an example report containing all those information, right? So this actually has the webinar we are targeting into two components. One is actually what you can do within Entution. As I said, this is a back-end operation or a back-end CRM part. But there are front-end marketing tools where you can get a value-added input to your marketing and sales by inputting what you enter here into a third-party tool or a marketing tool. So in order to do that, usually you can download the information that you put into Entution in terms of a report platform. Like I just showed you, these icons, you can download it. And then you can upload this back to a specific tool like email campaigns and all that. Actually, for that part, I'll be basically handing over this session to Dinura, who will be taking you through a next step where you can use other applications to enhance the information that you obtain from Entution. So if you have any questions with respect to the areas that I have demonstrated, you can actually ask now or even at the end of the session. So if there is nothing else, I will be able to hand over the session to Dinura to take over to the next element of this webinar.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Manu. So like Manu mentioned, I'm not going to take a lot of your time. For example, if you guys wanted to collect the contact details of the accounts, entered in the system, you download it as an Excel, and then you can use an email marketing tool. Just please bear with me for a moment. All right. So I'm sure some of you are familiar with systems such as email marketing tools such as MailChimp, Sendinblue. We currently use Brevo. So the very easy process to getting your contact list from Entution and importing it, it's all very streamlined. It's all very easy. So you go to contacts, then you go to import contacts, press continue, and then we start importing a file. Now the file we've already exported from Entution as a CSV and Excel file. Simply drag and drop. And as you can see, this is how the columns are set. And once we've confirmed it, the system, it actually categorizes everything. So for example, if you can see here, first names, last names, the email, and it's automatically categorizing the phone numbers as well. So what this helps you do is target specific customers. Now we're going to add this customer list into this folder webinar. Okay, so once you've added your list of contact list, you can see you have their name, you have their email, you have their SMS. It's all very easy to send and reach out to them. You can do it one by one, or you can do it in bulk, which is the main point of these tools. So you go to campaigns, You create a campaign, create a email campaign. You can go with an SMS, web, WhatsApp campaign. It all depends on your preference. Simply create a campaign, put a name for it, and then you go to your recipients and you can select the contact list. You can categorize these. Now, right now, I've imported the 10 contact details that we had. You add it in, and then you simply go into design. It's much more easier than creating an email on Outlook or whatever email platform you use. You've got templates that you can use from. Let's say we use this, for example. And the very interesting part, and I think my favorite part about this tool and most email marketing tools is the fact that we can personalize emails automatically. So for example, if we say, hey, hashtag F name, you are reaching out to people, and the system captures the first name from your contact list and it sends it out to them. So for example, for John, this email goes out as Hey John. For Jane, it goes out as Hey Jane. So you don't need to send multiple emails. You don't need to send a generic email. You can send out bulk emails while still keeping it personalized. Once you've done that, you save and quit. You set your subject, you set your uh, recipient subject, and a few more settings. This is the personalized sending feature that also includes the subject, by the way. There's also ways in which you can exclude people. Let's say you want to send, now in total, we have about 7,000 contacts in our platform. So if you want to send it to a certain segment, maybe 5,000, exclude the 2,000, you can still do that. So it's a very useful tool. You can follow up, you can get statistics from existing emails. So yeah, that's about it from me. I'm gonna hand things over to Ashani now, because I'm sure you guys have quite a few questions, and please feel free to ask them. This is an open webinar. We'd love for you to ask us questions. We'd love for you to ask us what you'd like to learn more of from us in the future webinars. So please forward all questions to Ashani and we'll be happy to answer them.
Yes, thank you, Dinura and Manupriya, for those valuable insights and knowledge that you have shared. Any questions from the audience? Okay, I have received one question. I think this would probably be directed to Manu. Is there a size restriction? You said you can maintain records of customers. Is there a size restriction in this CRM that you showed of the documents that
Ashani.
you can? Okay.
You mean the attachment documents?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. There is no actual limitation in the number of documents, but the maximum file size of a document should be less than 5 megabytes. Well, basically, like you can have 4 megabyte size 10 files, but you can't have anything above 5.
Okay. Okay. And there's another question for Dinura. Dinura, now you showed us this direct email campaign. When it comes to SMS, can you use the same platform? Are there any other platforms that can be used as external free tools?
I mean, there's countless external free tools, and for these specific functions, there's Mailchimp, there's Sendinblue, there's Brevo, I think there's something called Pulse. There's countless ones. I think it's up to you to do the research and pick and choose what works best for you and your company. Because not everyone has a massive company. Not everyone needs to send out maybe 7,000 to 20,000 emails or SMSs a month. So these different platforms out there have the requirements that you need. If anyone's interested, maybe we can have another webinar because that's a whole deep dive in, on itself. But yeah, feel free to drop me a message if you guys have any questions on that. Yeah.
If you can share your email address
Yes,
for
I shall drop it on the chat so that everyone
okay,
can.
that'll be
Yes.
good. Any other questions?
I believe there's someone asking a question. I saw a hand raise.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes. Kaushal from Nature's Rare. You can unmute your mic, Kaushal, and ask. I think the facility is provided.
Yes, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you,
Kaushal,
Kaushal.
we can hear you.
We were just wondering if it's possible to upload client proposals and related documents to the system.
Yes, actually, you can keep them under attachments.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, it can be any format, images, PDF, Word, Excel, all are supported.
Any other questions? Thank you, Kaushal, for your question. Anyone else has anything to clarify? It appears that we don't have any more questions. So just like to take this opportunity to thank all the participants of this webinar and the two presenters. So join us again next month